So funny.
That guy's the best. Are we in?
We're going.
Oh, welcome to episode 18 of the Rad Dudecast. We are here. It is Monday, September 2nd. We're in Astoria, Queens, New York City. My name is Brendan Eyre. I'm here with two of my very good friends, Anthony.
And
Greg.
Anthony and Greg.
Tita, the door. She shut the door.
She doesn't want to sit live for these podcasts anymore.
No, she doesn't. But let me get the business out of the way. First of all, last week's episode 17 was our most successful episode yet. People love the Dungeons and Dragons. A lot of great feedback on that. So thanks to, what was the fellow's name, Greg?
Tim Woods.
Thanks to Tim Woods. Check him out somewhere.
Yeah, check
if
him
you
out.
want.
He works at a Forbidden Planet.
Yeah, so that was great fun.
I mean, although I think that would just be annoying if a bunch of people just came to have him do more work. Maybe don't check him out there. Go there, but then have someone else help you.
Well, if he seems famous, that's fun for him.
Oh, yeah, that is fun for him.
Like, go there and ask for an autograph or whatever.
Yeah.
And then do us a favor right now. Follow us on Twitter at the Rad Dudecast. Okay, we've given up on our Gmail account because we're just going to totally interact through Twitter. You can ask us our questions there. Follow us there. Share the podcast with your friends. It's on iTunes. It's all over the place.
Well, they know it's on iTunes, so they got it, right?
Well, you can get it. There's other ways to get it, but give it a review.
Yeah, give it a review.
Give it a rate. How are you guys? Man, it's good to see you.
Good to see you. I'm actually in a better mood. I feel good. Anthony's drunk.
Anthony is a little drunk, but that's all right.
No, it's fun. He's not going to say it. I'll say it.
Yeah, that's true. I was with Matt and Rumpf all day.
Matt is a friend of ours. Rumpf is his girlfriend. Just for the fans.
And he was hanging out with them.
That was great.
Had a great day.
Had a great time with them.
I went on a nice run today. It was very humid. It's very humid.
It was.
It's like a swamp. I don't like that. You at a wedding this weekend, Greg?
Yeah. Shout out to Pete Isip and Natalie. They got married. Good for them. One of the best weddings I've ever been to. They had a waffle truck.
Better than Mike's?
A pizza truck.
Was it better than Mike's?
Mike's wedding was great.
Mike's was awesome.
Mike's was awesome. But I'm not going to rate my friends' weddings.
I give Mike's a 10.
Did Mike get married yet?
Yeah, Mike married Angela a couple weeks ago.
Oh, yeah, that was great. We had a good time.
Well, this is riveting because I don't even know who these people are, and this is,
My friend Pete owns Crank Fitness. So if you need to get to the gym, boot camp. I'm going to give him a plug.
Mike, our friend Mike.
Boot camp, Crank Fitness in Brooklyn or New Jersey, if you're listening to either of those. Nutley, New Jersey, and Brooklyn and Jersey City.
Mike Carnathan is a doctor in Rhode Island.
So if you need doctoring,
sex changes.
Yeah, he does a lot of sex changes.
He does.
Oh, yeah?
He does. That's like all he does.
Yeah.
That's where the money is.
Yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't have any money, though. He got us these really stupid shoes for our wedding.
Yeah. But I wear them.
I thought those shoes were great. He got all the wedding party shiny shoes.
No.
Yeah, they're nice great. Pumas.
No, there's a problem. I'll tell it to you.
What's the problem with them?
The problem is that too many people already think that you and I, Anthony, you, Anthony, and I, Greg, hang out too much. So if we have the same shoes, people just go, "Oh, would you guys buy the same shoes?"
Tell them no. We got them at a wedding. Our friend Mike's wedding.
But I don't even
He's a doctor in Rhode Island, specializes in sex change people.
Now, if this
also, don't worry about what people think.
I care too much about what people think.
This leads to an interesting point because something I have to deal with, listeners, is, and I harbor no ill will, but Anthony and Greg essentially grew up together. Well, high school, really.
Yeah.
And I've got a best friend. He's in Cleveland. His name's Charlie. Great guy.
Zap? Is it Zap?
No, Zip. You're thinking of Zip.
Oh,
Zip,
like
who did
Zip
our
made
music.
our song.
Yeah, Zip did both our front end and back end music. So check Zip out. Produced by Zip. But my best friend is Charlie. But here's the
Carl
thing.
von Luger?
Welcome back, Tita.
Who's Carl von Luger?
Carl von Luger Steakhouse.
I don't know.
It's up at Tita. Where's Carl von Luger Steakhouse?
No, you're thinking of Peter Luger's.
No, in Hamlin. I'm big in the Poconos now.
Oh, you're a Poconos guy?
Because my mom lives there.
What happened?
We went to the Poconos, and this car dealership kept being like, "Come get a car, and you could get a gift certificate to Peter von Luger's." And they kept saying,
Carl.
Oh, Carl von Luger's. But they kept saying it like everyone is dying to go to Carl von Luger's. But if you're if you're a city boy like myself, that's nothing. Who wants to go there? I'm not going there.
Well, not to mention, if you're purchasing a car, throw something into the mix a little bigger than a gift certificate.
Yeah, I think it's just if you take a ride in the car, though.
Oh, we could
just
really,
a test drive. You
boy,
get a
we
thing.
Could make I see a loophole in this.
That's quite a racket they've got going over there.
Yeah.
You don't think a lot of people are doing
Microphone in your mouth.
that? In your mouth.
So what I'm saying is, you guys think Greg, you think people think you guys hang out too much. On the other hand, deal with the feelings of being a third wheel. You know what I mean? I always feel bad, like I'm trying to inject myself into this friendship, because you guys are my best friends in New York.
Let me ask you this.
I've only been in New York less than 3 years.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
If you took a wheel off a tricycle, would it stand?
No.
How does it look?
If you had 2 wheels on your feet and then a third wheel holding you up, and you got rid of that, same as a tricycle, just a different thing,
Right.
You'd still fall.
Well, I'd be able to stand because I essentially am working with that setup right now, where I have 2 feet and no wheels.
A third wheel is always better. Give me a time where the third wheel isn't a better situation.
Well, I don't like those guys that have those 3-wheel motorcycles. I'd rather a regular motorcycle.
Hate to say it, wrong. Love the 3-wheel. I love those 3-wheel motorcycles.
I was actually,
Love 3-wheel bicycles. Tricycles.
Delonte West, he's the best. He played for the Cavs. Now, who's he with now?
See, now I'm the 3-wheel.
Maybe
You guys are just
I
gonna
thought
talk
he was
about
with the
sports?
Mavericks.
Well, no, I'm not going to talk about sports. I'm going to tell you why he's the best. He's bipolar, and he's always doing pretty great things. He was pulled over on the 3-wheel motorcycle, just with a guitar case full of guns.
Like a mobster.
Basically
Like Dick Tracy.
Desperado. What's that Antonio?
Desperado.
Yeah. So
And did
that's
they arrest
fun.
him?
Yeah, they're not going to let you get away with
walk
that.
around with that.
In Florida, maybe.
I saw a guy once. He had a guitar. I screwed up the words.
Yeah,
Oh, keep trying.
No, you just kept trying to tell something, but your brain didn't move fast enough for you to get that lie out. I know
Yeah.
that situation.
That's exactly what
Oh, you going to make a lie?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
keep doing it.
I'll be like,
I'll tell you if I think it's true or not.
he had a gun case full of guitars, tiny guitars.
I believe that.
Maybe not even ukuleles, because the cops were like, "Oh, those ukuleles?" He was like, "No, these are tiny guitars." He's like, "Well, I never heard of that."
boy.
And he was like, "Well, let's do some paperwork."
Oh boy,
Keep
we're
the
only
microphone- keep
we're
the
at
mic-
7 minutes. This is gonna be a fun
Well,
one.
that's a fun thing.
Well,
I
was
thought
very
that was
fun.
great fun.
That was pretty
No one
fun.
heard it because you're not putting the microphone in front of your mouth.
Really?
I also think
Maybe
that's
I'm
why,
going back and forth too much.
Yeah. Just same.
That's why people tune in. You're not going to get. Say you're listening to This American Life. Ira Glass isn't going to show up drunk to do his podcast. You know what I mean? You're not going
No.
to get that with Car Talk. So this is
What's car talk?
Car Talk's the guys that talk about
So-
cars on NPR. You don't know the Car Talk guys? They're great.
I only
We
listen
should
to one
start talking about
podcast.
cars, baby.
I don't know that much about cars.
I know a lot about cars, but I only listen to one podcast. This one, okay? I expect everyone else to stop listening to other podcasts.
I don't have time for other ones.
I'll tell you a car story. You want to talk about cars? My first car, 1982 Toyota Corolla. My grandfather gave it to me, okay? I used to do this thing. It had this horn, real terrible horn that sounded like... So me and this kid, John Gabriel, I'd give him a ride home from school, and we'd do this bit, roll down all the windows, and I would just hold the horn down the whole entire time, and we'd just yell out the window, "Oh, sorry, horn's broken, horn's broken." So the horn would just be the whole time.
That's fun.
That's fun.
Yeah, it really only annoyed us because for the person on the side of the road, it was gone in no time. I had to listen to that the whole way home.
That's great.
We also, one time, we found a satellite dish in someone's garbage, tied it to the top of that baby,
Now you got a satellite dish in the
held our graphing calculators out the window, drove real slow, acted like we were looking for something. You know what I mean? Taking
Oh,
readings.
that's
That's
fun.
fun. That's
yeah,
fun.
yeah.
That's great.
Another time, this fella, Dan Crosscall, we find someone had throw out a bunch of old broken vacuum cleaners in the dumpster near the school parking lot. So we tied about 10 vacuum cleaners to the back of his car, hid it so he couldn't see him. He drove away. Guys dragging 15 vacuum cleaners.
Like you just got married.
Like you just got married to
To
Wally.
vacuum cleaners.
Wally. Yeah, I used to do this move. I had a 1982 Chevy Blazer. I used to do this move where I'd go, just idle speed, climb out of the driver's seat onto the roof, and drop through the sunroof while the car was driving.
That's first of all, we can't condone that. Nobody try that. That's amazing.
First off, I crashed.
Yeah, that's very dangerous.
But I used to do it all the time. But every time you'd crash, the car would be going so slow, not a big deal. I wouldn't car crash into cars. I hit a tree once. but very
Really?
slow.
Trees are very sturdy. Though. They don't even
You
notice.
know how we fixed the car?
How?
My friend Manuela told me how to do this. We tied a rope to the frame, then tied the rope back to that tree, hit the car in reverse, pushed it right
it
back
up.
out. Yep.
I crashed into a fire hydrant once, drunk, and
We can't condone that.
of course we can't condone that. I mean, I'm sober now, as you guys know. I've been sober for coming up on 8 years, so that's horrible behavior. I crashed into a fire hydrant drunk. I was too drunk to realize that my car was just dragging on the ground. So I say, well, it's still going. I'll drive home, you know. Little did I know, it was everyone in the neighborhood woke up. I pulled in. Of course, my parents were awake, you know, furious. Then, you know, they find out what happens. My dad made me call the police on myself the next day and tell them that I ran over a fire hydrant. Then my dad was shocked that the police gave me a ticket and tried to arrest me. I said, what do you think's going to happen
Yeah, they don't let
when
you
you
go.
tell the police you run over a fire hydrant?
Yeah, it's called that's what it's called, admitting it. Isn't that what it's called?
Yeah.
Admitting it? Not
Yeah,
admitting it.
pleading guilty, essentially. Never.
Did you take the fire hydrant with you?
No, those fire hydrants run deep. You know what I mean? Those
It's
are
not like
thick
in the movies
pipes.
where you hit one and they fly off and the water shoots out.
And maybe sometimes if you hit it hard enough. I essentially just ran over it going about 25, so it just bent. It bent all the way flat with the ground,
Oh my gosh.
and but didn't come out.
Now how you fix it? You hit it again.
Well, that's what if I would have been thinking on my feet, but I was drunk, you know.
Don't even read that text message.
What does it say?
Don't even read it. No, you're reading it. I'm trying to get you not to read text while we drive, on the
Oh,
podcast.
it's Jermaine.
Oh, it's Jermaine. What's he say?
Am I busy tomorrow?
Oh boy.
Nope.
Oh,
Tuesday.
boy.
Tomorrow's Tuesday.
You guys ever been in a crash?
Yeah, I've been in 100 crashes.
100?
I've been in 100 car crashes at least. I hit a guy once. Oh, I was. Never mind.
You hit a guy? What
No,
happened?
No, I never hit a guy.
Oh, okay, cool.
Oh.
Plead the fifth.
I never.
I one time
Some
was
guy pulled me over once.
driving with a woman. Her name was Allison. She was driving the car, and she rear ends this guy. She then goes, "Get out! Run!" She thinks the car's going to explode, so she runs 100 feet from the car. Me and my friend Emil just pop it in park. And like, what's wrong with this lady? And she starts screaming at us because she thought anytime you get into a car accident, the car just explodes.
Yeah. That's
Idiots.
not true.
No, not true. Not true at all.
Oh, boy. So that you can see that whole Chappelle thing?
Yeah, what was your feelings on this? Anthony, come on. Stop.
Oh.
Get off the fucking phone.
We were talking about car accidents?
No, we're talking about Dave Chappelle now. Did you hear about this Dave Chappelle thing?
Well, you guys
Oh,
wouldn't
yeah.
let me talk about my car accident.
What do you mean we wouldn't let you? You were talking on your phone. Oh, now
No,
Greg's
I hid
taking
it.
his phone.
I'm hiding it.
There's crucial information I need to
Yeah,
be
you'll get it in 45
transpire
minutes.
between me and my friend. All right. What? You
Did you
guys
hear
are
about
talking
the
about
Chappelle?
car accidents?
Will you have a car accident story?
Yeah, probably.
Well, that's helpful.
Did I tell a car accident story about Anthony?
Yeah.
You tell me if I'm wrong about this.
That was the one I wanted to tell.
Oh, you're gonna tell
but I
it?
couldn't think about it fast enough. You can tell it.
Oh, this is what I heard. This is a great story.
This is
so
all
Anthony
true,
was supposed to be driving. He gets his license, as everyone in the North End does. When you get your license, they automatically give you a car. So Anthony's driving this car.
That's not true. No,
And,
this is my mom's car, and I can't. I got to drive with her because it's a permit.
Yeah.
So
Gets on the highway.
let's be honest about the story.
So he's so terrible at driving that he
yeah.
just veers into the median. So now he's driving, scraping the median on the driver's side of the car.
Clang, sparks, the whole thing.
Yeah.
What's your mom saying?
It's just you're doing great, sweetie.
She's very supportive.
She's so supportive.
Cops. pull him
You're probably
over.
the best driver in the history of drivers.
The people don't know this about Anthony. He's got a fiery temper.
Oh, yeah, I know
Fiery temper. Don't get to see it often. Fiery. Cops pull him over, and what I understand, he said, "Yeah,
Something like that.
yeah."
Something pretty good.
Like, what's your problem? As if I haven't just driving.
Yeah, buddy. What?
parkway.
What? Don't you have things to do?
And then the guy says, maybe it's time. Maybe you
Very
shouldn't be
nice,
driving
very
on the highway yet. And then what did you say?
Maybe it's time for you to deal with the rest of the crimes in the city and not worry about me.
Did you really say that?
Yes.
At 15?
Yeah.
17.
What? 17.
You didn't realize you were driving hitting the median?
I just thought it got a little bumpy. Maybe we had a storm.
He wasn't very good at driving.
It's like turbulence on a plane.
So what'd the guy say?
He goes, oh, hey, do you know why I pulled you over? Well, I mean, I don't know what I said to that, but I was like, well, I don't know. And then everyone was giggling in the back. My mom was like, I think you did a great job. And then he was like, yeah, you were kind of scraping the medium for a little bit. And I was like, I don't know about that. And then and he was like, yeah, maybe it's time, exactly what Greg said, for you not to be driving on the highway. And I was like, well, maybe it's time for you to patrol the city where you are, because I'm sure there are better crimes than me, scuffing the highway thing, whatever.
That's great.
And then what happened? Because I couldn't imagine you'd take kindly to that.
This kid just got a warning.
Oh,
Not even
boy.
a warning. They just said, you're okay, right? You didn't get a ticket, right?
No, what kind of a ticket? I wasn't speeding.
Reckless driving.
What do you mean? What kind of ticket? You can't crash into the median.
Don't even crash. Continually crash as you're driving.
Wasn't so much a crash as like a handshake that lasted a while between a car and concrete.
Have I
fun.
talked about the time? Did I ever say on the podcast how that
No.
developmentally disabled guy rear-ended me?
No, what
I
happened
think
with
you
him?
did. No, give
I
us the phone
gotta
to me.
answer it.
There's nothing to answer.
And why are your pants undone?
Because I ate a lot of that rice that Tita got, so my belt,
okay.
I gotta loosen up,
Well, I got rear-ended. Guy crashed in my car, totaled my car.
Uh-huh.
He gets out of the car. I get out of the car. This guy, I say to myself, well, he's had some sort of head injury because he's ruined. He can't. This guy can't even talk. He's a goner. Well, it turns out he was fine. I was fine. What turned out happening was he was retarded.
Oh,
and
that's fun.
I got triple the insurance money because everyone just said, and I probably could have got even more if I wanted to sue. I just took whatever they offered me. I didn't care. I was glad he was okay. I was okay. They were replacing the car. But if I wanted to sue, I probably could have got a lot because essentially the insurance company was like, yeah, look, man, we're really sorry. We don't know how this guy got insured or how he got a license. He is retarded.
Wow, and they said retarded.
It
It was the 80s, probably.
No, it wasn't the 80s. I wasn't driving in the 80s.
Why not?
Because
You're very
I
smart.
was 6.
Well,
You were 6 in the 80s.
you lacked initiative.
Yeah. You lacked initiative.
That's pretty good.
What?
Do I have to sit on the couch with this guy? Because I'm getting furious.
You're sitting
No, I
on the
gotta
couch with me. What are you
That's
talking
what
about?
If you want a shittier mic, you can sit over here.
No, I like this
Right. Okay.
one.
I got a good one.
Yeah, give it to me.
What about Brenda's? That was good.
No, it's about you again. I just want to keep telling Anthony stories.
These are.
There's rumors.
Whoppers.
Now these are stories
I'm
from
gonna take
before we were
Brendan's
friends.
Don't
going
take
away.
my phone.
That's Colin.
Rumors
What's Colin saying?
Don't. I'm going to listen to Greg.
One of our
rumors
beloved
of the
listeners.
temper run deep in Bloomfield. Now, you ask a bunch of friends. He won't admit it, but 2 or 3 of friends have told me that he would play
Slack.
Super Nintendo and get so angry that he has bitten through the wires
Yeah, that's
of
not
the
true.
controller. 2 or 3 of my friends have said he has went so angry and bit through a wire. Now, that's the funniest thing I ever
This is a
heard.
fun episode all about my temper.
It's the funniest thing I've ever.
That's
You
not
bit
true.
through
It's
a
not
controller
possible.
Wire?
I did bite them. I did bite the wires a lot. I never got through, and I've got some pretty strong chompers, but I never made it the whole way through. I got a fiery little temper. There was a drawer full, like a graveyard, of controllers that I threw a lot of them in anger. I never bit through them though, but that is a fun wives' tale that people would say about me.
Let me ask you this. Let's put the facts together.
Sure.
How many? Well, we'll say we do know this. What do we know about you? We know that you have a fiery temper.
Yep.
True.
Yeah, that's true.
We know you have very strong chompers.
Yeah, that's
Is that a
Correct,
known
right?
fact? Your teeth are strong?
absolutely. A dentist, this is a fact. A dentist once said to me, he goes, you're like a dentist's worst nightmare. And then I said, why? Because I kill dentists? And then he didn't laugh. But that's, we had that exchange.
Why were you?
But why were you the worst nightmare?
'Cause I-
your teeth are
like,
so
you know, 'cause
strong?
I have,
That
like,
seems
very-
dentists would love that.
I should have gave that more context. That's a hilarious thing that I said. Because my teeth are very white and they're very straight. So, I'd have a dentist, Dr. Fukas, Greek guy. My grandma knew him. And he cleaned me up and he said, Anthony, when's the last time you were at the dentist? And I said, well, to be honest with you, Fukas, only once, Dr. Reese, who's my mom's dentist right now. And he
Who's
said,
your mom's dentist?
Dr. Reese.
What's his story?
How do you even know your mom's dentist? I couldn't.
Why
tell
would
you
I
the
know my mom's
first-
dentist? We're very close.
Couldn't
I
tell you my
couldn't
mom's
the
middle name.
First thing, yeah. Anyway, let me see how white
You don't
your
know your
teeth are.
mom's real name?
Middle name.
Oh, middle name.
First of all, I want to see if this Dr. Fuck Us
Mary.
was right. Let me
Ellen.
see your.
Mine is Mary.
DL
Let me see your. No, those aren't that white.
Well, not now. It's a lot
I'm
older.
just kidding. They're very white.
That's fine. I mean, I
So
don't
we
care if you
know
are.
about you that you have strong chompers, fiery temper. Now, let me ask you this. How many controllers, Nintendo, do you think your grandmother purchased you and replacements?
She didn't purchase any because she wasn't into that. My mom got me a bunch.
And we can get a number.
Probably 10, 12.
10 to 12.
Yeah, probably.
Okay, that's a lot. Now you're going to tell me there's not one of them? Now, how do you smash them, right? Smash them
Throw
against the
'em,
wall?
yeah.
So you're telling me there's not one of them where those chompers came into play and you bit through?
Greg, I understand this is all
Very
fun
fun.
and games, but it's so hard to bite through a wire. And I'm not saying this out of arrogance. I'm saying this out of that I didn't do it.
Yeah.
I've definitely bitten down on wires, but I never got through.
I think.
Okay, go ahead. I don't
I
wanna
think
step on you.
that you are correct. It is very hard to bite through one.
Okay.
Unless you add in two other factors that are fiery temper, very strong chompers,
You've said it yourself. You're a dentist's nightmare.
You guys are, and
and a Nintendo controller's nightmare.
Well,
well, to be fair, the bulk of them were PlayStation controllers. They weren't Nintendo controllers, which have thicker wires.
Which are also known, PlayStation had lighter wires.
That's not true.
that is true.
That is
and
true.
I think there's
That's
one.
a bullshit thing that you guys both claimed that is true,
It's
and that's
true.
not true at all.
Yes, it
Yes,
is. It's
it is.
widely known that a PlayStation controller is
the
much
wire.
weaker.
Wire much
Just the
weaker.
wire, much weaker.
Now, there's one.
I mean, how
here's
do
the
I
thing.
dispute this? We don't have a
Listen,
wire expert,
that's
so
what
it's
I
like
was
now
gonna
you
say.
guys get away
Here's
with
the
like a
We
thing.
could, listen,
It's like such bullshit.
we could argue this
Yeah.
till the cows come home, but there's a
Well,
very
get 'em
simple
home, 'cause,
solution.
you
There's a
know.
simple solution.
There's
Let's
a
hear it.
very simple solution. Let's get out a wire that you don't. Are there any wires that haven't been used or that are dead wires, and we'll have them bite through a wire?
Yeah, want to see if we can bite through a wire?
I can't.
Well, you're not
I'm a
as
human
young.
being. I'm not a Wolverine. I can't bite through a
this will be
wire.
good. Listen, this is not a wire, but I have here a bag, one of those shopping bags with those. The handle is sort of a very thick
That's
twine.
He's
like
not going to bite through it because he doesn't want to. He'll probably prove himself wrong. This is
Will you agree to give it your best
You know what
effort?
he's doing here now? He's baiting me, saying that I can't do it, which he's probably right.
I
Because
bet you can't even eat that whole bag.
Now, this is a twine style.
I mean, that's beyond
handle
even a
to
temper.
a
That's just
fine-
some kind
a
of
fine shopping bag.
A wheat problem.
Well, how do you say this? You do not have
The
strong
wheat problem,
chompers. You have regular
'cause
chompers.
brown reminds me of
So
wheat,
let me
that's why
ask
I
you,
said it.
Brendan, why don't you try to bite through it? And if you can bite through it with normal people chompers and no temper going,
that's
then
pretty good.
Anthony can definitely bite through it.
Yeah, but I'm not really angry right now. Although I am getting mad at this sort of conversation.
Well, here's. I will
but
say,
the way NFL Game Day made me mad is like a whole nother level of
Yeah.
mad. This doesn't make me that
there's
mad.
a flaw in your logic.
All right.
There's
Mm-hmm.
a flaw in your logic, Greg, and that's that I, in fact, have extraordinarily strong chompers.
I got a show tomorrow. I don't know if I can do that thing tomorrow. I just realized
What
that.
thing tomorrow?
Jermaine asked me if I could host some thing tomorrow. I don't know. I don't know if I can do it though. I gotta text him back.
What?
No, you text him back in 45 minutes.
All right, that's pretty good.
I love chewing on stuff. I got a straw I'll chew on.
Me
One
too.
time my mom walked in. I was about 12. I knew better. She walked in. I was just by myself chewing on a battery.
No, that's not good for you.
Well, she said,
That you chewing on a battery?
yeah, chewing on a battery. I didn't know what was inside a battery.
Am I the only one that thinks that's like nonsense? A
I think
battery?
he's lying.
Yeah.
No.
Let's take the trial. Let's take the trial. Let's see who thinks it's a lie. Brendan, I want you to put a battery in your mouth right now.
I'm not going to put
This game is gonna end. We're all
Now
gonna
I
be dead
know
by the end
better.
of this game.
But I was chewing on a battery, and my mom saw me and said, "Oh my God!
Yeah.
What are you doing?" Because I didn't know about battery acid.
Well, if I,
just
can't
thought a battery was
if
a
I
battery.
can't see you putting a battery in your mouth now, then how can I see you one when you're a child, when you're much smarter as a child? Don't put that down. Put
I'm
that
not
PlayStation remote
gonna.
down.
This means as much to me as it does to you.
That's a $60 remote.
That's I don't know.
It is.
None of them are that expensive.
54.
They don't have wires anymore.
Anthony's
That's a
picked
good
up
thing.
a PlayStation controller. I think. Look, I'll say this.
Limited edition, red variation.
I'll say this.
They're all red
Anthony
controllers.
is
We're talking about PlayStation controllers.
a person who I care about very much and trust what he has to say. So let's put him on the spot
Mm-hmm.
once and for all. Will you agree? I'm going to ask you one question.
Yeah.
Will you agree to be 100% honest? Do you agree?
I agree. In the face of God, 100% honest.
Okay.
All right. So bite
Have
through
you
that.
ever? And I'm not saying.
I'm-
And I'm not saying.
Yeah, bite through that.
No, that's not
Because
the
that's
question.
not a thing. Yeah, that's not
the
a question. That's like
Let
a
me ask
weird
the
demand
one
that you
question.
have.
Let me ask the one
How much more
question.
fun is that?
Greg,
Howard Stern would do this.
This is going to be good.
This is
Yeah.
like a Howard Stern show.
This is a Howard.
This is
Stern show.
now.
Now,
All right, go ahead.
Greg's dream.
Have you
Be
ever?
Howard Stern.
Have you
Hey,
ever?
this is very important.
Listen,
and
answer his
you
question.
agreed to be 100% truthful.
Yeah, I know. I
Have
said
you
that
ever destroyed any type of gaming controller using your mouth?
too. No, absolutely not. You can't bite through the wires; they're too strong.
Well, but you could ruin them. You could kink the wire or bite off the joystick. There's a number of ways a mouth could destroy a
Why
controller.
would we want to know the truth of this? I don't know why we want to know the truth. Do you want to tell a child there's no Santa Claus? Do you know how long I believed that Anthony can bite through a Nintendo wire? Here, let me ask you this. When I'm always getting fired up, it's like I have a fiery temper, and I'm about to fight someone. You know what I like to think? All right, I got Anthony behind me. That guy bites through Nintendo wires. I can kill anybody.
Yeah.
yeah, that
true.
doesn't mean I'm not crazy. That doesn't mean.
Yeah, but crazy's not going to get you half as far
No,
as
I'm just
biting
saying
through someone's
physically.
skull.
Look, I'm not saying that didn't make me attempt to bite through a wire because I did.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is it's not physically possible. People have stronger teeth than me, and I'm
bite
saying
through
I
a
got
wire.
good chompers, but there's no exercise to this whatsoever. Some people chew on like cabbage or like rope or whatever to strengthen their teeth, and that's true.
Wait. People chew on rope?
Yeah, you didn't. No, that's like there's competitions, like strong
Oh,
teeth
yeah. I have
competitions.
seen those guys that pull trains with their mouth.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll prove it right now.
So-
I'm going to bite through this microphone wire.
No, we need that microphone.
No, we don't.
You're
We had a
gonna
guest
ruin
on
your
here.
teeth. You can't
No,
do it.
please don't. We have a
Without
guest. We
training
need
or
that
anything, you're not
microphone.
able to do it. Brendan,
I have training.
yeah, what training do you have? I'd love to know.
Range.
Eating pulled pork and a bunch of
Well, that just made me angrier. Now I'm biting through two.
you're
You're
gonna
not
hurt your
talking
mouth.
into your mic.
Tita.
That's the number one thing we get yelled at by you.
Tita.
Now you're not talking to your mic. Tita, Greg's trying to bite through a wire.
And I'm telling him because I've looked up stuff about this because I've got very strong teeth and I thought about what I'm going to do with a career in my life later on, and I thought that might be an option. But it's people train for this stuff. It's like a real thing.
To bite through wires?
And I don't
Not
think
just wires, but like other stuff.
And it's not so much teeth, really. It's your jaw strength, I would imagine.
Yeah, but they're both intertwined.
Well, your teeth are just. Is it the hardness of your teeth?
Yeah.
Do you think those people sharpen their teeth?
No, because that actually doesn't help. If it's too acute, it doesn't
Acute?
really work. Yeah. Because if you grade them to too fine of a point, it doesn't work.
No, because yes, it does because it's.
No, that's what
You're
you
gonna
think.
break the shirt.
Because well, that's the issue. Because they have to pull like if they pull a bus like by their teeth, you don't want to actually cut through.
Yeah, but now we're
whatever's
talking
in
about
your
cutting.
mouth.
Yeah,
Two
we're
different-
talking
two
about
different
biting
teeth
through a wire,
competition, yeah.
not pushing a Winnebago with my mouth.
Well, that's what I was talking about.
No one was talking about that, so just you.
Well, I was.
Well, yeah, Brendan and I were.
No, you were talking about pulling a thing with your
Yeah,
mouth?
yeah,
Yes,
because he was saying
the
there's
strongman
professionals. I said,
competitions.
I know, I've seen these guys. They're pulling trains with their teeth.
No, I'm talking about biting through a wire.
Yeah.
And I'll do it. To prove.
All right, well
that
then
he
do
did
it. Do it, big mouth, and do it.
Big mouth. You mean strong mouth?
Yeah, whatever, mouth. Go
Tita,
do it.
bring me a wire.
Why do you need Tita to get involved? They're right
Because
there.
she's my lovely assistant.
Tita. Hey, Tita.
Tita,
Tita.
wake up.
Can you come in here?
I don't know. I don't know if we should be biting through wires on the podcast.
Why not? I mean, well,
Tita.
to show off, Dolph Ziggler wants
I'm
to do
going
this.
to bite through a wire. I need you to get me a wire. A wire that we don't need.
Oh, a clothes hanger.
No, I'm not going to
That's
do metal.
metal.
Oh, okay. He's not
You can't
gonna
do that.
metal. There's that French guy that eats bicycles.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
bite
he
through
ate
a
an
wire.
airplane once.
He ate an airplane.
Yep.
Yeah. You
Hey-
know that guy that ate an airplane, Greg?
Yeah,
Why
we
would
talked about
you
this on
just-
our first or second podcast.
Oh, fuck. Well, we're podcast over. You know?
Well,
Why did you get out the bag? Oh, because you wanted to see if I
Stop
could eat the
moving.
handle?
Yeah, bite through the handle.
dude, give me something to bite
I don't
through. I'll
think I
bite. Let's have a
can.
biting contest.
Well, have you ever bit anyone?
Yes. Can I tell you a story about biting a guy in the fucking
Yeah.
chest?
What's up, Tita?
Yeah, I'll bite the cantaloupe.
Tita made a hilarious joke that Greg doesn't eat enough fruit. How about Greg bites through the cantaloupe? Wouldn't that be fun?
That'd be funny. Me and my brother had to fight 6 kids at the school once.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Give me the full backstory, because this
Full
sounds
backstory.
great. Give me everything.
My brother's 6'3", the wolf.
The wolf.
He's a maniac.
You've heard him on the podcast.
Yeah, he's
before,
ready.
listeners.
He's always ready
He's
to
the
go.
best.
I'll call him right now.
Some kid. No, I got your phone. Some kid says you were doing something to my girlfriend. My brother was like, I wasn't. He was like, I want to fight you. My brother was like, you don't want to fight me. I'm 6 times bigger than you. Go home. So he goes home. Well, we get a phone call. My brother says to me, he goes, Greg, we got to go to the school. I said, why? He goes, we got to go beat this kid up. I go, all right, let's go. So we walk to the school, 4 miles at least. We get to the school. The kid says, don't bring anybody. So my brother shows up there. He's got 8 of his friends with him.
Classic.
Piece of shit, right? So my brother's like, look, man, I'm not talking to your girlfriend. I don't know none of this shit. Get the fuck out of here. You don't know what you're talking about or whatever.
Yeah.
Kid goes, fuck you. My brother takes his fist, punches him in the face, knocks this kid clear on the ground. Kids try to run after him. I headlock two twin brothers, two twins, like a double dragon.
Under the same arm or different arms?
Both arms.
Yeah.
Both arms. Grab them to the ground. I fall on the ground, bite through a kid's shirt because I'm just ripping on some kid. Someone's grabbing me by the shoe, trying to let go of me, but I got two of these kids in a headlock, and I'm biting through somebody else. Police come. My brother's got this kid on the floor. He's about to punch him in the face. They pull the kid out. My brother punches the ground, breaks his wrist.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, so then we go to the Electric Circuit, the video game arcade. We hung out there.
It's good.
What'd you play?
Well, we were just nervous that the police were going to kill
gotta
us.
get out.
So
Gotta scram.
but then my mom knew exactly what happened. But that's
So your
that's-
brother had a broken wrist and he's just hanging at the video game arcade?
Yeah, my brother's real fucked up. My brother,
Wolf's the toughest guy.
they gave him braces once, and my brother said, I don't want braces. So he took pliers and removed them himself from his teeth.
I mean, that's got to cost $5,000.
$5,000 right to the drain. And that's why I never got braces. I always needed braces, but my mom was like, you don't give these Corluzzo boys braces. They take them out with pliers.
You needed braces? Your teeth look great.
No, I got terrible teeth. I don't have terrible teeth. I have
your
moderately
teeth.
bad teeth.
I like your teeth.
If you need a guy, I can hook up you with Fucus.
Does Fucus know that his name is fuck us?
Well, it's Chinese for
Well,
focus.
it's OU.
How do you spell it? F-O-U?
KAS.
Oh.
I had a great riff, and no one heard it.
What was it?
It's Chinese for focus. You must focus. Come on. Tina, did you hear that one?
Tita.
She heard it.
did hear
Tita
it.
is Chinese.
Well,
Tita's not
she's
Chinese.
pretend Chinese.
She's Thai. Are
She's
you
Thai.
Thai? She's Thai.
She's Thai. Of course she's Thai.
I'll tell you this.
Yep.
Don't say anything bad about the king in Thailand.
I know that.
Yeah.
My girlfriend's house has two pictures. The king of Thailand
Ronald
and the
Reagan.
king of rock and roll, Elvis Presley. They got two kings, and they're right next to each other. The Thai love two things.
My roommate in college, Tim, he went to Thailand, said something bad about the king. I don't know why. They locked him up.
I'm going to tell you a story that's going to change your life right now.
Yeah.
Tita's friend went to Thailand, got roofied every night.
Yeah, that's crazy.
went
Because
to the same bar
every
night. They roofied him.
like a
What
job.
do you do?
And he called his girlfriend being like, oh, my God, they roofied me. This is terrible. Wakes up the next day, goes back to the same bar. They roofied him again.
What were they doing to him?
Who knows? Third night in a row, they roofie him a third time.
I like that they're not doing anything to him and they're just roofing him for
roofing
good
him.
fun and let him go and then he
right.
keeps coming
Did
back.
he remember that he was roofied, or did he
yeah,
forget?
how would I know? I mean, that's how I
Boy,
told him.
that's
And then Tina feels upset. She's like, I'm so sorry about Thailand. He goes, you kidding me? I had the best time of my life.
boy. That's where that saying came from. Roofie me once, shame on you. Roofie me twice, shame on me.
Yeah, roofied me 3 times. I enjoy being roofied.
Yeah.
Am I going to get roofied again tomorrow? Call me up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love a good roofing. Here, let me ask you this.
No, we can't. We can't
How come this
support
is
that
okay?
on the podcast. We're 100% anti-roofing.
Now, I get this might be offensive, but answer this question to me. How come that people could just call me white, but I can't just call every Asian person Chinese?
Well, because you are white, and every Asian person is
I'm
not
Italian.
Chinese.
I'm Italian American. I'm not white.
You're two different things. You're talking about race and ethnicity. Their race, I suppose.
Ethnic. My ethnicity is Italian. I'm an Italian American.
Right, and your race is white.
My race.
There's not a continent called white.
There's not a continent called China.
Yeah, there is continent called Asia.
Oh, you got that one.
Yeah.
I think that there's more to this.
Well, you got what is an Asian's race? It's Asian, right?
Tita.
Isn't there a name for
Yellow.
that, Tita?
Yellow.
No, you don't call him yellow.
Well, I'm white. She's yellow. I don't understand why that's a thing. How come there's people can be black, they can be white, but they can't be yellow? As soon as you say yellow,
Because
it's
yellow
racist.
is derogatory. It's the same as calling a Native American red.
Well, why is calling me white not? I'm not physically white.
It just worked out that way. I don't know why.
Huh, Tita? If I call you yellow, how do you feel? If you call someone yellow, it's calling him a coward.
Yeah, that's
Yellow.
okay. Now, there's where you get into dangerous territory. You're talking to you run into say a Filipino guy, and he refuses to to join you in your
Quest
join
to
your
kill a
brigade.
rapist.
Yeah, and you say to him, "Boy, you are yellow," but you mean it as a coward.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, you're on trial for hate crimes.
I don't know, man. I think this whole white, black, yellow thing is offensive to everybody.
You don't like to be called white?
No. Do you like to be called white?
I don't mind.
White people are the worst people, everyone says. That's what happened with this Chappelle thing. Really got me mad.
Yeah, what got you mad about this?
Because I read one article about it, and maybe because I said, what happened with Chappelle? Everyone said something happened with Chappelle.
Who wrote it?
Ebony.
Oh,
Ebony.
that article was annoying. I disagree
Did you
with
read
that
it?
article.
The magazine.
Yes. But let me before you get into
talk
what
about
you're going to say, Greg, real quick. If you're not familiar,
I'm going to take
Dave
my shoes off.
If you're not familiar with the situation, Dave Chappelle was dealing with hecklers at a show in Hartford, I believe,
Yeah.
and essentially refused to perform. He just sat on the stage and talked, which I don't blame him. I'm 100% supportive of him. But then there was an article in Ebony.
That wasn't a big deal.
Well, the Ebony article said that something about
The Charger.
about how a black man performing for all these white people is similar like to the minstrel shows.
Right. They were
And-
drawing.
Yeah, and I was like, no, it was a shitty crowd.
Right.
And that's so. I mean, it was. Here's the thing. Like the way I look at it is this: it was a shitty because he had a shitty crowd. So you have a shitty crowd, and I think as a performer, I believe that you got to do what you got to do to get the people who paid. Now I get people saying he was pissed off because this crowd was. They were yelling things. They were yelling things like "I love you" and "I'm Rick James, bitch." Now, as comedians, we understand that that's annoying and that's shitty. But to those people, they thought they were being like showing how much they love him. So now people pick the point of being like, well, those people are shitty for yelling those things. I think that you should now accept that these people like you, and now you, as a performer, you have to perform for this crowd. These people paid $100, and let's say because it was 8,000, 10,000 people there, a handful of those people were bad or shitty. I would say maybe 1,000 at most. You still have 7,000 people who you're giving a shit show to. So I think he should have done something.
I see your point. I would disagree.
Okay.
I think when you pay to see a performer, be it a band or a comedian, you're paying to see whatever they want to do. Now, you have an expectation that in Dave Chappelle's case, he's going to do comedy. You have an expectation in a band's case that they're going to play the songs that you like. But you've paid to see whatever they're going to give you. And depending on what they do on stage, that's what leads to further ticket sales. I think the performer has the right to do whatever they want. And
It's very interesting.
And
it's very interesting.
by Dave doing what he did, we know as comedians, you can't fucking do jokes when
Yeah.
there's 1,000 people yelling. It
Of
doesn't
course,
work.
of course.
It just doesn't work.
Yeah.
So what he has done is then took one bad show and essentially alienated part of that crowd. But it sent the message to future audiences of his that, look, this is what's going to fucking happen if you let these hooligans
It's a
just
very
yell
good
out
point.
during the show. And
No one has
from now
made
on-
that point, by the way.
What's that?
No one has made that point. I agree with that point because if he had done like what Bill Burr had done, now with Bill Burr in Philly, he got pretty famous off of having a shit crowd and then just shitting on them. Now, if Dave Chappelle would have done that, I think it would have allowed people to think, well, we need to all heckle his show so we can get that show. He likes when this happens, so we can give that.
Right.
So I would agree with that. It's just that whole minstrel show and this whole
No, that I
immediately
don't
telling
think
people
is-
that it's white versus black. It's like it was a shitty crowd, and
Right.
I've had 100 meltdowns. I love having meltdowns.
Right.
But so I would agree with you then.
And to your point that like you got to do something to try and win the crowd and try and make something happen for the people that are enjoying it. I agree. I think that applies to most performers. I think that applies to the three of us. I think in my mind, a legend, a guy like Chappelle, who has put the time in to become one of the best, if not. I don't want to me the best, but I love Chappelle.
Yeah, I love him
and
too.
he's clearly one of the best.
Yeah.
And so I think he's earned the right to
I don't know,
if
because
people
if I
are
paid
making his show for him undoable the way he wants to do it, well then he can do whatever he wants. And he stayed there for his contracted amount of time, but he didn't, he just chatted with them and basically waited for them to shut up, and they didn't.
See, what bothers me is that I have no money. Now,
Right.
if I would have went to see, I would have loved to have gone to see him. I would have paid $100 to see him. Now, if I put $100 of my money that I really don't have to put in his pocket to be like, hey, look, I'm here to see Dave Chappelle, and he gives me a shit show, I guess it's his right, but I would be furious.
I do see
I
that
would be
point.
disappointed.
Yeah.
I'd be extremely disappointed.
I see that side. I think my counter argument to that, and I don't really know where I lie on this because now you're starting to convince me a little bit. My counter argument to that is the show's ruined already. Even if, no matter
Yeah.
what he tries to do, if people are yelling at that level of yelling, it doesn't matter if he tries to do jokes. It's not going to work.
Sure.
And you're going to have a shit show no matter what. So your fury, in my mind, should be directed at the 1,000 people who don't fucking understand that a comedy show
I
is
agree.
closer to a play than it is to a music concert.
Let me throw one more, and Anthony as well. Feel free to talk whenever you want. It looks like he might be passing out. But I do want to throw this in.
I'm listening.
No, I know. I went to see for about 3 years ago. Maybe it was 3 or 4 years ago. I'm not really sure. 3 years ago, 3 years ago. Tita had gotten for my birthday. We went to the Comedy Cellar, and I was like, I'm not past the Comedy Cellar, so I can go there and actually just see the best comedians perform. I was very excited. I was like, I'm going to go. We're going to see the best. The lineup was amazing. It was Attell, Ted Alexandro, just a bunch of greats. So I'm like, this is going to be great. We get to the show. First comedian gets on. He gets off. Second comedian, Dave Chappelle, walks in and then just does the rest of the show. He just bumped everyone, and he didn't do material. He just sat there and talked. He just talked and was kind of giving, well, if you're a huge Dave Chappelle fan, like, you would love it. But if you're a comedian like myself, where I'm here to see the best of the best perform, and I'm paying $20 to get in, we paid $40 for the two of us, plus 2 drinks. We probably paid somewhere like $100 that I really don't have to watch this guy just fucking workshop. I was so, let down. I was kind of like, and then he was smoking on stage up above all that. I'm like, I'm from the front row. I have asthma. So that to me was like, on all these levels, I was very just fucking disappointed. Now, I think what he's done in comedy is amazing. The Chappelle Show is amazing. His stand-up is the best. But watching that, I was kind of like, well, if he did that, now I'm not saying he did. I read some comments that people may have been referring that he may have done that, where he may have just went up and then just talked, and then people were kind of like, what the fuck is this? And then started, yelling things like, I love you, Dave, because it was like lulls and silence, and then that got too out of hand.
Right.
I would side against him. If he went up and just kind of workshop shit, and then it didn't really get laughs, and then he got furious, I would say that that's kind of shitty.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
I wasn't there, so I don't know.
Right. We were there. I didn't see the full set. I saw a clip. Yeah, I mean that's annoying. I don't know. I guess in some way in my mind I feel as if at a certain level you've earned that. You've earned that right to go up there in the cellar, and if you keep doing that, the cellar's not going to have you back. If people don't like it, But
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how I feel
mean,
about
do you
that.
think that who's a great actor who's put out a bunch of shit? Like Eddie Murphy. Has Eddie Murphy put out the right to put out just terrible movies? Or
Well, that I think is a little different because that is
it's
like
different.
that's a thing where those movies, I think they're terrible. A lot of those Eddie Murphy movies.
Eddie Murphy wasn't a good example.
So what happened? He couldn't do jokes, right? There were people yelling out, and he couldn't do jokes.
Yeah.
So then he ended the show, right?
Well, he did his time. He did his contract.
He did
of 25
his minutes,
but he didn't.
okay.
He wasn't doing jokes.
He wasn't doing jokes because people were yelling out.
Yeah.
And did they kick those people out or anything?
There was too many people. It was a festival situation.
Yeah,
It
it was like
wasn't a
8,000
club.
people.
It was
Okay.
8,000 people.
Okay. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know. How do you... That's shitty on their part. He
On the
was
people's
trying to
part?
do jokes.
Yeah, he did a
it's
joke.
hard to say
Yeah.
because he didn't really get anywhere, I don't think. But so he just sort of sat there and read out of a lady's book. He did ask them to be quiet and did say this is your fault.
And
Right.
I agree too. It's kind
I mean, at what point, if he can't talk over the people, I know it sucks for the people that paid money to hear him, but it's like, well, if he can't talk over the people, well, what's he going to do without any kind of outside, sort of thing?
I agree. I don't fault him for not doing great. I don't fault him. I don't think it should be a big deal. The guy had a bad set, but that's as far as it goes. But if he purposely did it, then it's kind of, I don't know. It's hard to say because like
Was he doing it? Like purposely didn't do his material because the crowd stunk?
I don't really know how I feel. I don't really know how.
I don't know. I didn't see it.
Me neither. But I mean, like, if you were on a show.
Oh wait, you didn't see the clip?
Well, there's
I
no
just read a
clip
bunch
of the whole
articles.
thing.
There's a little clip, but
Yeah,
it's
there's
not
a little
the whole
clip.
thing. It's just I was reading a bunch of.
Oh,
comments
okay.
on what
And
we're
by
saying.
all accounts,
Yeah, obviously the racial thing.
That's
I
what
don't
made
know.
me
That's
furious.
stupid. I don't even care. Like, I don't even think about it. It's like dumb. It's like that's like another thing for there to be like some kind of a. You're just drumming up journalism. That's like ridiculous.
Yeah.
What were you gonna say, Brendan? I kind of interrupted.
no, I interrupted you. Go ahead.
That was it.
Well, I think another issue, a broader issue that this brings up is I think a lot of times people aren't aware of the effect. They aren't aware of what comedy requires to work.
Yeah.
In other words, I think people think like, yeah, there's just people yelling. Just do your jokes over it. You have the
Yeah.
microphone. And they don't realize that like a little distraction like that makes people not laugh. All of a sudden, you need people's full attention for comedy to work. As soon as
Right.
just because they could hear you because you're on a microphone and you're over those guys yelling, it doesn't mean it would work. I think a lot of times people that aren't necessarily nuanced comedy fans look at it like, oh, it's like a concert. We're out here at this 8,000-person
Yeah.
festival. It's a concert. I yell at bands.
Yeah.
They still play. It's different.
Yeah,
Totally different.
And
Comedy doesn't work like
Also,
that.
too, like I mean, how many like you know what I mean? Like even in like some rooms where it's like a large like theater kind of room, like the front couple rows are the rows that you're responding to because that's all you could see.
Yeah.
The rest of it is just darkness. So if those people aren't engaged and those people are yelling and screaming and stuff like that, that's kind of your frame of reference for your crowd.
Yeah.
So like if they're not into it, that's really what you're going off of. So I mean,
I don't
Jesus
disagree. I
Christ,
don't
I
think
can
it's-
understand that. I don't know. I haven't seen the thing, but I don't know. I mean,
it's a whole bunch of news about nothing. It's just a whole bunch of people blowing up. Guy has a bad. That's what sucks at that level. You have a bad show.
and then,
And there's
well, it's
articles
also
written
too,
about
but
you.
like Chappelle's had like I mean, Chappelle's like an interesting character in the sense that like people made so much news about when he walked away from the Chappelle show and
Yeah.
the whole Africa thing or whatever, which I don't even really remember all the details. But I mean, yeah, the bottom line, I mean, that guy's a legend. That guy's a pro. I mean, I know that guy just like did Montreal and did like an hour and a half or 2 hours, and I heard it was just like the best comedy that anyone's ever seen.
Well, they said he was supposed to do one show, and they added 9 more shows because it went so well.
That's the thing.
Okay.
That's
at Montreal.
Yeah, in Montreal.
Yeah, that's what I heard too. So
in my mind, there's some, and I could be totally wrong, but I think for me, there's an element of like he's fucking earned it. If this happens, like if there are times when he just wants to go up there and talk, and that's the way he's sort of working out material, he's earned that, and that's a risk.
That's okay.
We as
at
an
a
audience
club.
know
That's not okay at 100 when you're paying $100 to see him headline.
Yeah,
I
I don't think he did that though. I don't.
Oh, okay,
Oh,
all
we
right,
don't
I'm just
know,
saying.
I guess. But by all accounts, on
Yeah.
this tour, I mean, the next night he crushed out in
Oh, he did?
Pittsburgh. He killed.
Oh, good.
So by all accounts, that's not what he's doing on this
Good,
tour.
good.
see, that's the thing. That's what it seems like if he's on this like giant tour. Because I know you mentioned that one time you saw him at the Cellar. I mean, the Cellar is where you see people do their best material. But for those like guys, it is a workout room.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember when I was like, I don't know how old I was. Maybe I was like 18, 19 when Chris Rock dropped in and did an hour of material that never made it to Kill the Messenger.
That's awesome, though.
Yeah.
And then you see that stuff that no one ever saw.
So I mean, I can remember full bits that he did about like European porn and it being like a Rodney King beating with dicks and like it got like a fucking applause break. And I've never seen that material ever. And it's like he dropped in and did an hour, and it was like, well, where the hell is this guy going to work out material? You know what I mean?
Sure.
So it's like, it's unfortunate, but it's like that's what he has to do. But I don't. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I didn't see the thing. So, but I'm sure if it's like that many people at like an arena, I bet he probably tried to do jokes, and they were, whatever. Where was it? It was Hartford, Connecticut.
Yeah.
First of all, let's also touch on that.
I think
Fucking-
that's like a pretty dangerous city.
Dude, those crowds
I think it is.
up there
I mean,
in Connecticut, those Connecticut crowds are
I
bullshit.
gotta answer Jermaine. Jesus Christ.
Hey, we get to 5
I've
minutes.
never had a
Oh,
good
all right.
crowd in Connecticut. I've never had a good crowd in Connecticut.
Yeah, I mean, Yeah, that's the only thing. It's like I'm sure that I don't know, but I'm sure he was trying to do a thing with that big of a crowd. And it's like a sponsored tour too, right? It's like that Oddball Festival or whatever.
Yeah.
Like Flight of the Conchords is on that and stuff like that. I mean, I highly doubt that he's up there, with a notepad working out material.
Sure.
I mean, maybe he was. I didn't say it, but I mean, yeah, that happens, at clubs like around the city. But I'm sure, like on the road, like I don't think he's doing that.
My whole thing, I think, is just that like he had a bad show. It just sucks that if you have one at that level,
That becomes like national news.
you have Ebony magazine writing things about racism in America.
See, that sucks for you because then you're lumped in with their opinion when that's not your opinion.
Yeah,
but then,
his opinion. He didn't say anything about that.
Right. So then all of a sudden you're like, well, it wasn't a black and white thing. They were just assholes, and I had a bad set.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, you're like, I mean, that's just them sensationalizing stuff, and that's just them trying to get ratings for their website or whatever the fuck.
Well, not to mention, it worked. I mean, I saw that article. You saw that article,
about
right?
it.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I don't normally see articles in Ebony magazine, so like,
you gotta get a subscription.
She made her. She got what she was trying to get, which is views and attention. You know what I mean? I just disagree with it. Birbiglia got booed off the Opie and Anthony. The white guys get booed off and heckled the stage all the time. It's not a. I don't think it's a black.
I don't think that's a. Yeah, I don't think that's a.
Was Birbiglia the guy who was on before Burr at that show?
I don't
that
think
traveling virus. No, that was like Tracy Morgan. Tracy Morgan got booed off in that show.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's all those Opie and Anthony crowds. That's their thing. You know, they kind of like take pride in trying to take guys down like that.
That's terrible.
But then it's like, you don't know what happened in Hartford. Like, I mean, I bet. Why was he reading from a book? Like, what was that about? Like, was that somebody's book?
No, somebody in the front row had a book, and after it went to shit, he just sat there, and then that lady handed him a book, and he started reading from that. Because he basically talked to them and was like, I can't do this. Like, you gotta be quiet.
Because that's the thing. On some level, I mean, like, if he's bombing, he's bombing. He knows that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But if he's and also, too, he, for whatever it's worth, he's not going to be bombing in front of that many people who are there to see him.
He wasn't bombing. He's at a bad show.
Right. And it's like, I'm not trying to make him sound invincible or whatever, but like he's not. The only way he's going to bomb in that situation is if people are actively against the show.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
I agree.
So.
And they didn't even know they were against it. They were just drunk and yelling out shit. Rick James, bitch.
Right.
It's like people are idiots because what does that even mean? That's a sketch. What do you want him to do? He doesn't do that. He's not doing stand-up. He's not going to just do characters.
Well, those people just don't know.
Right.
And that's why I feel bad, because it's like, you know what? It's very easy for us to be like, those people are idiots, they're shitty. It's like, they just don't know. This is a guy who, Dave Chappelle reached a level of getting to people who aren't comedy fans. People who just watch the Chappelle show.
Right.
And then they never really been to comedy shows, or the ones they have been might have been not very good, or who knows. And so they come and they're drunk and they're like, I love you so much, I'm going to yell something at you. It's not coming from hate. That's why I feel kind of bad. I feel bad for people being like, they need to learn their lesson and not do that kind of stuff.
That's the part of the room, or that's the part, you know what I mean? That's the arena. That's the people that work at the arena. Like, you have to be like, look, this is the way this works. You can't do that.
An announcement before about heckling. But, who...
Well, then that's just them being drunk and being stupid. Like, you know what I mean? Now you're fighting against their human race and, like, whatever.
Yeah. That's why I always, one of the comedians, now he's in rough times now, but one of the comedians who I'm always most impressed by is Cat Williams. Because if you hear some of those live albums,
crazy.
If you hear some of those live arena shows and how he's able to fucking wrangle that crowd, it's insane. Because he draws these crowds that are just fucking maniacs, they're yelling
crazy.
at him the whole time, and he makes it work.
Oh, really?
And it's amazing.
Just attack, energy.
Yeah.
But like, if you watch, I mean, that's why like that Richard Pryor Here and Now, that's like one of my favorite specials, because the first 20 minutes he's just dealing with a crowd that's like sitting down in New Orleans and like just fucking heckling and doing whatever, and he spends like the first like 10-15 minutes just kind of wrangling them, and then goes into a full headline. That's a special. That's not, you know what I mean?
I've seen a tell do that as well.
This isn't like a fucking, he's at a club and doing this. This is a tape special. This is it. You know what I mean? Like, he does that. Like, that's incredible.
Yeah. Also, I saw Brian Regan headline, and I was working at him. I was working the door at the time. The last night, everyone was so drunk and rowdy that he just went along with them. Like I saw, like what a pro, like
Right.
they were yelling out, the big yellow one's his son, and he was like, you just want to hear me do that bit? You already know that bit. And then people were like, yeah, and he's like, all right. So then he did that bit, and then people were on board, and then people were still screaming stuff, and it was really shitty. But instead of going against the flow, he took it in a way that he kind of went with it and still gave everyone a great show.
But-
and that's why I was kind of like,
But like, I'm sorry to cut you off.
Yeah.
But like, it's like, okay, but if Brian Regan's not trying to do a thing, like if he's like, I'm going to do a show, and if this happens, this happens. But if like Chappelle's like, I'm working this out for a thing. You know what I mean? You guys know all how we get when you're like working stuff out for whatever you're going to do. And then it's like, okay, so now you have a crowd that's not allowing you to do that. Well, in our case, it's like, all right, well, this is like a shitty, bar show or whatever the fuck that I can't work this out. But it's like, yeah, this is the only grounds he has to work out this material and get accurate feedback on it. So if he's not doing that, then it's like, it's a waste.
well, I disagree with you because he has the comedy clubs. I mean, this is an arena, a huge 10,000 people show. That's not where you're doing your thing. I feel like that's where you're being the fucking.
I agree with that. Here's what I think.
actually disagree with that because I would think the arena would be the place you want to take it in a polished state. I would think at the clubs you're working it out more.
Yeah, that's what he's saying.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
He's saying he
You're
would
saying
have had
that
polish.
you're
You're saying he's trying to work it out. He was in an arena when this happened.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so then, all right. So then I just disagree with what I said.
I think so.
Okay, that's fine.
No, here's where
I'm fine with that.
Here's
No, okay. No,
here's
that's
where
all
I
right.
kind of.
I think, right? Is that what I... Then
Yeah.
I would just... Yeah, okay, all right. That's
Here's
how it
what I think. I think, in my mind, and who knows if this is true or not, I think with his skill set and the tools that he has, I think Chappelle could have handled that crowd.
Yeah.
I'm positive that with his energy and his talents as a performer, he could have taken a half hour to fucking work that crowd down to where he wanted them and then performed. But I think he has the right as a performer to not want to do that, to want to get his crowds to a place, to just not want to have to deal with that. And by doing this, by saying, I'm not going to fucking do that, I'm not going to fight this crowd until they're a place where I can perform the way I want to perform.
Yeah.
Then, and he takes a loss, he takes a shit show and gets knocked around the media like this. Well, guess what? That people are going to now know that's what's going to happen when you go to a Chappelle show. So don't fucking yell like that.
Right, I see
You know
what
what I
you're
mean?
saying.
So
Yeah,
in
yeah.
other words, he's conditioned the crowd. I think he could have handled it, but he has the right not to.
Well, it's almost like a good move. I mean,
Yeah, that's
it's
what I'm
like
saying.
sucks for those people, but it's like, yeah, if you do that, you know what the
right.
outcome is going to be.
And I can totally understand
Rather
not
than you
wanting to
mention
do
that,
that.
like-
But I don't even think that's. I mean, I think that if it was just a shit show and he wrangled him and did his thing, and then whatever, I don't think it would have made the news, and I don't think it would have been a big deal. So like he would have still went to Pittsburgh, and it's still not people like, oh, did you hear what happened in Austin?
Yeah.
He went crazy, and then so where we have to do that?
Yeah, but what if, like...
No.
you mentioned-
What I'm saying, I think you're misunderstanding me. I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm saying they hear about this. They will hear about this, and they won't be shitty again.
Because you mentioned the Burr incident before. That's all I was like... So it's like, all right, so say somebody does tape it like on YouTube of like Chappelle like wrangling this crowd and people are screaming and he handles it well and the crowd goes crazy and he's shitting on people. Then like the next crowd is like, all right, like that's what we do. You know what I mean? Like with the Burr thing in
That's what we were saying
Philadelphia.
before, but that's the thing is, but look at Burr. I mean, I don't know if Burr. I mean, every time I've gone to see Burr, the crowds are super into him. They're great.
The Carolines, man, they were crazy though. When we saw him at Caroline's like almost a year ago, those crowds, like the minute he got on stage, like he had to take like 5 or 6 minutes of just like shitting on people and doing whatever before he can get into his set. Like that, like if you breed that kind of an audience, you're going to get that kind of an audience. That might not be what Chappelle wants. You know what I mean?
I don't know that he. I've heard that. I mean,
They also, too, we're just like talking about this guy. I feel weird talking about this guy. I never met him or anything like
Chappelle?
that. Yeah.
who cares? He's not gonna hear this.
I know. I just
one's
feel
gonna hear
weird speaking for it. I
know.
We're
It's
not
just-
speaking for him.
It's odd to me.
Yeah, no,
No,
that's
we're on
fine.
the
But
talk,
we're
we're just
we're
discussing.
just giving our opinions as comics on it. I don't think we're
Yeah.
saying one
Yeah.
way or another. And I think we've been pretty positive about the whole thing.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say again. I said this now 3 times. I'll say again that worst case, worst thing he did was just have a bad show, and that's okay.
Right.
And I'm saying he bombed. I'm saying he had a show, but it wasn't necessarily a great show, and that's not a thing that you need to write an article about. You know what I'm saying? But I'm saying I just don't like the
Oh,
idea
yeah.
that we're just discussing the fact that I think that if you're at that level, do you have the right to screw people who paid And I'm not saying the shitty people.
Oh, I see. Okay.
The people who paid, the people like me who put $100 to go see him, and then because it was a shitty crowd, really got nothing.
Right.
That's kind of how that's the only thing that sticks on me is to be like, well, okay, great, you taught a lesson, but there are people out there who are probably waiting years to see you perform, and they kind of got screwed over. Although the comics before were all great comics, and I heard the show was great, so they at least had that.
Yeah, I do. I do feel for those people. That's too bad, but I think that fault, in my mind, the responsibility for that doesn't fall on Dave Chappelle. It falls on the people yelling and ruining the show.
I mean, I always felt bad. I saw Dave Attell once at the Borgata where he couldn't get through a word because of these fucking animals, and it was one of the worst stand-up shows I've ever seen. And people were all like, Attell's the best. And I was always like, is he? Is he the best? I mean, I saw him live once. It wasn't very good. I had then seen him later when I was working at Rascals, and he destroyed, and I was like, sold. But before that, I was kind of like, I went to see him, and it was just not realizing even, too, that it was just such a shitty crowd.
Right.
That there was nothing he could do.
That's the thing. There are times, and I don't think people realize that, there's times when, like, if there's not someone policing the room, if the bouncers or the management or whoever isn't policing the room, one person, you just cannot beat a heckler if they don't respond to getting shut down. If they just keep yelling, there's nothing we can do.
Yeah.
There's nothing we can do, right?
Yeah. Well, it's also an arena too that makes it that much more difficult.
That's why I feel like arenas must be so hard.
Yeah.
I don't know how they could be fun
Well, that's
at
why
all.
watch
Well,
those.
luckily for us,
Yeah. To me, I pay for.
I mean, thank the good Lord that we're only doing pizza places.
All right, I think that's. What do you guys got any
final thoughts?
Any final thoughts?
I don't know what we talked about.
That's
That's
good. That's good.
No, I'm good.
That's been the Rad Dudecast for today. Remember, follow us on Twitter at the Rad Dudecast. At the Rad Dudecast. Anyone got anything coming up they want to plug?
No, I can't. My phone's over there, so we'll do it next week.
Well, I got something cooking. I'm not allowed to get over to it.
Nope, not getting his phone.
Tomorrow, I don't know.
Also, I institute next week. I'm getting a bucket. Everyone's phones go in the buckets.
What? No, I don't need to put my phone anywhere. I don't listen to my things.
You do, just because, like Dave Chappelle's audience, one bad move, everyone has to pay the price.
No, he pays his own price.
What price? I don't know what's happening.
Well, that's the price.
I got to get to that thing. Find out my, my latest endeavor.
I'll be at Foxwoods October 2nd. Well, that's a Wednesday, October 2nd. You can get tickets online. Brendan Eyre, Foxwoods.
Thank you.
Tuesday, tomorrow.
Good night.
No, not tomorrow.
What?
Not tomorrow.
No, tomorrow. I got something going.
Oh, what do you got tomorrow? Plug it.
I don't know.
I'll tell him.
Well, that's not helpful. Okay, over and out.
All right, bye.
Cut us out.